Hey everyone, Scott here to discuss Cult of Chucky, starring Fiona Dourif, Michael Theriault, Adam Hertig, Alex Vincent, Elizabeth Rawson, Gracelyn Kung, Jennifer Tilly, and Brad Dourif, and directed by Don Mancini. Now, before I get into this, I remember seeing one little trailer that made me think, this looks interesting. So let's get into this right away. We open the movie with Andy Barclay having a dinner date with a woman named Rachel, and Andy is trying to tell Rachel about his past, and she's frightened by it and walks out, and that was a wasted scene. But it was good to see Alex Vincent back to the role as Andy. I also really like the way we get introduced to Chucky as only a head, and he smokes a cigarette, and Chucky almost bites Andy's finger off. And it scared me on my, I think it was third viewing, and made me jump, and it was a good scare. I did watch this movie twice. I mean, no, not twice. Four times. And the reason I say that now is because I was watching the rated and the unrated version twice, so I wanted to see what the difference was at this point. Andy burns Chucky's head, and I thought, wouldn't he melt because he's plastic? I just had a problem with how he didn't melt after Andy burns Chucky with a fucking flamethrower. Brad Dourif's daughter Fiona's character, Nika, is back in a hospital for the criminally insane after the events of the last movie, and I like her much better here than last time, whereas she was flat in the last movie, but her performance has definitely improved from last week's movie, I feel like. Angela, I got the impression she was fucking nuts. Particularly since, as she asks Nika, she also asked Chucky later in the film if they could see her. And I thought, yeah, what a fucking nut. But her character is nuts, so good job to the actress for playing nuts. I'll give you a thumbs up for that. Claire, I thought, was the biggest bitch until she's dead later in the film, and I hated the character, loved her death. Good riddance. Madeline, who is believing that Chucky is her son, or baby, or something like that, and gets loved by Chucky and tells her to do things she can't, but her character is a little bright, but I didn't really like her character in this movie throughout. Did Multiple Malcolm remind me of anybody or any of you and anybody of a movie that came out earlier this year called Split with James McAvoy? Like, I thought seriously he's a repeat of a fucking M. Night Shyamalan movie, but I do like the character in this movie, and I'll talk about that more when I do an M. Night Shyamalan retrospective. But as for here, well, I like the Split personality better in Split than here. But I still like the character. Tiffany Valentine, I'm glad we finally get her. We get her last name, played by Jennifer Tilly, is a good presence after Bride and Seed of Chucky and briefly Curse of Chucky. Even though she's in this movie very little, I still like that character played by Miss Tilly. Angela is killed by Chucky after the scene he encounters her, and after he cuts her arm. And by her, I mean Nika's arm. I thought, damn, that's just fucking brutal. I honestly thought when the lighter goes on Chucky's hand and briefly melts it, I thought he was going to scream. But honestly, he doesn't scream. And I said out loud, are you fucking kidding me? Madeline goes for a walk with Chucky and almost throws him in the grave. And Multiple Malcolm goes in there and suddenly becomes Charles. I was thinking, oh shit, this is going a direction I would never predict at the end of, but I'll get there. Claire gets bitten by Chucky and gives her a needle, and is given a needle where she can't move, and Chucky kills her off with the glass facing her, and I thought, yeah, you're fucking dead. Thank God she got killed, because like I said earlier, I didn't like the character, and good fucking riddance that she's dead. Then Chucky says something out of character. Sometimes I scare myself, and I thought, how's that possible? I mean, honestly. The headless Chucky says, did you really think I was the only one? As soon as he said that, I thought, oh shit, There's more than one Chucky out there. I like that twist. Chucky says to Andy at that point in the film. Dr. Foley hypnotizes Nika and Chucky knocks him off. Or out, let me say, for just a few minutes. And says, he's diabolical. And hands Nika the broken glass, and it moves on to the next scene like an old Disney movie was actually a funny scene. Alice, who was brought up as dead earlier in the film, shows up for only one scene, where she haunts her Nika, and that was a useless cameo in the movie, in my opinion. Andy goes to the psycho hospital and gets a call from Tiffany, and the way they both acted was like a little bit weird. Andy was threatening after Tiffany, after he gets Chucky killed, he's going to kill Tiffany. And the way they both sounded like they know each other, like that was a little off, because Tiffany has never met Andy before. Madeline kills Chucky with a pillow, like she did with her baby. Was a bit of a sad sequence because she was pretending to that was her real kid. Like, what a sad sequence. Andy gets to the psycho hospital and punches the guard after he says he needs to see Dr. Foley, and gets himself in a room that I do not know what the fuck that room is. And that was not a way for a guard to handle someone that needs to see a doctor at nighttime. Just what a stupid guard. Chucky kills Madeline with his hand, and some nurse says she quits because she can't take any more of people dying. And I don't blame her, but the movie does begin to fall apart for me. The 3 Chucky dolls come in, and I can tell which one is which. One looks normal, one has an arm missing, and one has a haircut. And that's how I know who is which. The normal one transforms into Nika, while the one with the haircut tries to kill Andy. The one with the missing arm comes out of nowhere and kills off, what's his name again? Multiple Malcolm? Yeah, Multiple Malcolm. And now Nika as the new Chucky. I thought that can't be the ending. It just can't be. But sure enough, it is. The end credits begin to roll, and if you watch the unrated version, there's an after credits scene. We see a returning character, Kyle, played by Christine Elise from Child's Play 2. And that was a pretty good cameo, I thought. So yeah, that's the movie. And it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 6.2 out of 10. This is the second best Chucky movie to date, and it's not a bad one. I liked some of the characters, and the story was at the beginning was good until we got to the second half, and the movie began to fall apart. So it is a mild recommendation in the meantime. And I'd like to thank you guys for joining me for Child's Play Retrospective and The Cult of Chucky. And until next time, don't fuck with the Chuck.